You have the Honorable Commissioner Water Resources, the Honorable Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, the Honorable Commissioner for Higher Education, whom are all here in person. And also joining us now is the Honorable Commissioner for Animal Health and Overseeing Commissioner for Ministry of Agriculture, Professor Abdussamad Dasuki, representing Sokoto, the Revenue Mobilization Commission, and members of your entourage, representatives of the Ministries of Health, Ministries of Basic Education, Primary Board, Internal Revenue Service here, the chairman is here, Internal Revenue, which is Executive Directors, the Accountant General, other senior government officials, members of the civil society organizations are present here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. Assalamu alaikum. I think before I go ahead to read a summary of what the state will be presented, inshallah, in due course, let me thank my colleagues, the Honorable Commissioners, who nominated me by being their younger brother to come and make this presentation. So I thank you most sincerely for giving your younger brother the opportunity to make this presentation. So on behalf of my colleagues, I would like to go this way. Our remarks is that the review of the revenue allocation formula by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is timely and appropriate. We commend the Commission for this initiative, and we are hopeful that the nation, this time around, take the opportunity of reviewing its revenue allocation system to reflect changing realities. By virtue of Section 162, subsection 2 of 1999 Constitution as amended, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is saddled with the responsibility of proposing a new revenue allocation formula for the three tiers of government. Specifically, this section of the Constitution states that, I quote, the President, upon receipt of advice from the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, shall table before the National Assembly proposals for the revenue allocation from the Federation account, and in determining the formula, the National Assembly shall take into account the allocation principles, especially those of the population, the quality of states, internal revenue generation, land mass, terrain, as well as population density, provided that the principle of derivation shall be constantly reflected in any approved formula as being not less than 13% of the revenue accruing to the Federation account directly from any natural resources. Unquote. The sharing of revenue between the three tiers of government has been a controversial issue in the Federation since independence. A greater percentage of these national resources have always been conceded to the federal government, whereas the real fiscal federalism recognizes the equality of the two levels of government, that is the federal and the federating units. It is to be noted that the 1999 Constitution never pronounced the federal government as the major beneficiary of the revenue accruing to the Federation account. It should be clearly realized that in a true federation, neither the federal government nor the state government is superior to each other under the 1999 Constitution. It therefore follows that whatever formula that will be adopted should be by consensus of all stakeholders. The vertical allocation formula is the sharing revenue from the Federation account among three tiers of government. Currently, the vertical revenue formula is as indicated below. Federal government gets 52.68%, state government, including the FCT, receives 26.72%, while the local government gets 20.6%, which is the total of 100% revenue that is generated. The horizontal revenue allocation is the formula for sharing already allocated revenue by the vertical formula from the Federation account among the component units of the three levels of government. The existing horizontal revenue allocation formula is stated as follows. Equality of state, 40%, landmass and terrain, 50%, 10%, social development factor, which is education, health, water. Sorry, education 4%, health 3%, water 3%, which is total of 10%. Population 30%, internal revenue effort 10%, and that is a total of 100%. As can be seen from what is said above, the current vertical formula presented a situation whereby the share of federal government alone doubles that of the 36 states put together, or more than that of the states and local governments combined in the country. While it is understood that the federal government has specific rules under the exclusive and concurrent legislative list as specified under Part 1 of the second schedule of the 1999 Constitution as amended, nonetheless, the performance of such responsibilities is not enough justification for the states and local governments to be at the mercy of the federal government when it comes to the sharing of the revenue agreeable to the Federation account. In allocating a larger percentage of the central government, the erroneous belief is that federal government bears a major constitutional burden in terms of assigned responsibilities. The Sokoto State government is of the opinion that the states and local governments equally have enormous responsibilities on their shoulders, as initiated under Part 2 of the second schedule of the 1999 Constitution as amended. For instance, the state governments have more secondary and primary school, hospitals, and other public institutions to manage than the federal government has. Furthermore, through fiscal federalism should ensure that states and local governments do not have to get federal government assistance for their survival and for carrying out their constitutional responsibilities. The state is of the view that the current revenue allocation formula is not only inadequate and unfair, but also cannot guarantee peaceful and harmonious interrelations amongst the three tiers of government. The perceived injustice should therefore be addressed in the interest of national development and peaceful coexistence. In Sokoto State, we believe that the Constitution vested enormous powers on the state. This includes education, health, provision of water, infrastructural development, agriculture, and all the items in the concurrent and exclusive list. In addition, the states are often made to complement the efforts of the federal government in areas that are exclusively responsibility of the federal government, such as security, tertiary education. Most states operate state universities, etc. Moreover, the present rural-urban migration by youth in search of greener pasture is mainly due to the skewed nature of the Nigerian population, in which more resources are concentrated in the center, leading to lack of basic amenities in the state and local government, with all the attendant consequences via insecurity, decline in agricultural activities, unemployment, among others. In this regard, the position of Sokoto State is that the share of the federal government should be reduced from 52.68% to 42.68% and increase the share of the state governments from 26.72% to 32.72%, and the local governments from 20.60 to 24.60%. In this regard, some of the factors or proxies used in revenue allocation should be reviewed. This is because it does not reflect the present realities. Example, the hospital beds, number of schools enrollment, etc. As proxies should be changed with the number of doctors, consultants, nurses being employed by the state and local government. The proxies, internally generated revenue, equality, and terrain should be maintained as the state has its peculiar terrain or ecological factor. This will definitely help in solving the problem of environmental degradation. Lastly, a comprehensive report will be presented by the state government when the commission called for submission of memorandums. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. So, I've just finished a summary of what we have highlighted as a state. And at this point in time, I would like to highlight that in view of the fact that we have very relevant ministries here, whom I believe I want to give an input or an addition to what I've said. I probably have the opportunity, maybe a few minutes, to also make their own comments in regards to why we're here today. But before I go to my seat, I think on a personal level, I would like to highlight one of the issues that I think we're not making progress. As a state, or members of the State Executive Council will remember, His Excellency, the Governor of Sokoto State, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambon, has always been of the opinion that first and foremost, while we are amending the Constitution and making more revenues available to the state, we should equally at the same time make a solid provision for how members of the Commission, not only Revenue Mobilization Commission, but also Federal Character Commission and other commissions that represent the state. I think this is the golden opportunity to see how their nominations are being made and how they represent the state. In his own opinion, is that members of such commissions should be nominated to the State Assembly, screened by the State Assembly before they are sent to Abuja. What this means is when you get to Abuja, you are definitely going to represent the interests of the state. And at all times, you are back in the state to say what has been done or what the state requires. So I think we should use this golden opportunity to do or to take care of this constitutional amendment. Just like the chairman or the commissioner representing Sokoto highlighted in his own speech, is that what they do at the Fiscal Responsibility Revenue Mobilization Commission is to be in conformity with the people's views. And I think the people's views is that we should come here and make their views known in Abuja. So I think on this note, please, let's take advantage of making sure that we have this all-important amendment. And I personally believe it's in the best interest of the state if that is done. And yes, I have been a member of the State Assembly and the National Assembly. And I know what it means when you are nominated from the state. You now have to be responsible to get back and tell them what is being achieved. On this note, I thank you most sincerely for listening to me. And I think members of the civil society organizations, like the Honorable Commissioner for Budget is highlighted, are here in their numbers. So most likely in the course of this interactive session, hopefully they might have a word to put in for this all-important function we are here for today. Thank you very much. Salam.
Thank you very much, sir. That was the position of the good people of Sokoto State, aptly captured and put in a succinct manner by the representative of the